This has been an exciting offseason for multiple teams. Many were able to draft some talented young players in the draft, gave their key players contract extensions, and, of course, all the trades. After all of the ongoing offseason chaos, some teams have gotten significantly better. So now, without further ado, here are 5 groups that will shock you next season. The Oklahoma City Thunder have the best young core in the NBA while being led by a superstar in SGA. They finished with a solid record of 40-42. Which placed them 10th in the Western Conference. This was a considerable upgrade from the season prior, where they finished with a horrific 24-58 record. So now imagine how good they'll be after getting back Chet Holmgren and drafting Cason Wallace. But not only that, their young players like Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, SGA, and Josh Giddey were great last season, and it's safe to say they're going to have even better seasons coming up. The player who's going to bring the most change to the team has got to be Chet Holmgren. Many people need to realize how crucial having a solid to excellent rim protector is. It's not a coincidence at all that all of the worst teams in the NBA don't have a good rim protector. The Rockets, Spurs, Trailblazers, and Magic had some of the worst records this past season, and they didn't have a player that could protect the rim at a high level. And what's scary is the Thunder weren't even that bad of a defensive team in the paint. They ranked 16th in points allowed in the paint without Holmgren. So now, with him, I wouldn't be surprised to see them inching towards the top 10. I'm sure some of you may think I'm overrating his defensive impact. Or you're probably feeling like a rookie like Holmgren won't be that impactful on the defensive end. Well, as we've seen over the past 2 years, we've had 2 players that established themselves as top 5 rim protectors as rookies, Evan Mobley and Walker Kessler. And if you watched Holmgren in the Summer League, then you would know that he, without a doubt, has that type of talent and potential. And again, the Thunder were already an excellent defensive team last season. They were the 13th ranked defense, so adding Chet is about to be a game changer. Offensively, OKC ranked 5th in points scored per game. Now you add in Holmgren, who will be an immediate lob threat and can create for himself. And I'm not saying he's going to come in averaging 25 points per game or anything like that, but still, averaging around 13 to 15 points on good efficiency is more realistic and acquirable. For the rest of the Thunder, we know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will have another outstanding season. Suppose Chet does his job defensively, and SGA consistently scores over 30 a game. In that scenario, I definitely see the Thunder getting into the playoffs, especially when you look at the talent throughout the roster. You have Lou Dort, a fantastic defender, Josh Giddey, an emerging star, and Jalen Williams, looking like a future star. And then you have great complementary pieces like Isaiah Joe and Ousmane Dieng. Now, the next team that I think will shock everyone is the Detroit Pistons. They had a horrific record that I don't even want to bring up. But still, this team has high potential. With Cade Cunningham returning from injury and Jaden Ivey improving along with the other young players on the roster. Now, will they do better than the Thunder? Probably not. But I will go on record and say that Detroit will win at least 20 games again. As I mentioned, Cade will be returning from his surgery, and he needed to get that surgery because it was a lingering problem for him. I'm so young in my career and I still haven't shown people who I am. I started to get a rhythm, but my shin kept killing me. It was hard for me to put the entire season to the side, sit down, and just take care of it. After talking with everyone, I realized it was a long game, and I had much more basketball to play. I want to be able to play my game, not think about my body and try to overcompensate for different things. So now that Cade has that taken care of, he should be ready to go. In the 12 games he did play last season, he averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. And I expect that to be right around his average for this season. The 2 most important things he must do to guarantee team success is to remain a good facilitator and defender. We know he's an excellent facilitator, but as the leader, it's essential to set the tone defensively. With their new head coach, Monty Williams, I'm sure Cade will be motivated more than ever to compete. But one area he must improve is shooting the 3. His rookie season, he shot 31%, and in his 12 games last season, he shot 27%. If he can improve that to 34 to maybe 35%, it'll go a long way. His backcourt partner, Jaden Ivey, is someone I expect to have a breakout year. Honestly, Cade's injury was probably the best thing that could have happened to him in his rookie year, and I don't negatively mean that at all. But when Cade went down, it forced Ivey into more of a playmaking role, and he thrived at it. So, now that Cade's back, Detroit has 2 good playmaking guards who can also score. The rookie Azar Thompson stood out defensively in the Summer League, and that could make or break Detroit's defense. I don't expect them to be a top 10 offense this upcoming season, so they've got to play outstanding defense. If not, then they won't even sniff the playoffs. And I wasn't even really considering them a playoff contender anyways, but my reasoning for adding them to this list is I could see them winning a little over 30 wins this season, which is a big step up from 17. This squad is very underrated, and not to mention Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart are showing showing a lot of promise as well. The third team that's going to shock everyone is the San Antonio Spurs, and it's pretty obvious why, so I'll keep it short. It all starts and finishes with Victor Wembanyama. Like Chet Holmgren, Victor's impact will be mostly felt on defense. The Spurs had the worst paint defense in the NBA, and even after drafting Victor, it's clear the Spurs will still have many problems to address. Even with that being said, Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson will be an exciting duo. Before going down with an injury, Devin Vassell was on a tear, averaging 18, 4, and 3 while shooting 36% from 3 and playing excellent team defense. He was also one of the deadliest mid-range scorers in the league, and remember, he's just 22 years old. So if he keeps developing on both ends, I could see him being an all-star caliber player very soon. Then Keldon Johnson is only a year older, and he too was putting up points on the scoreboard. He led the Spurs in scoring with 22 per game. He does have questionable shot selection and is not efficient from 3, but if you watched him play, then you would know he has the makings of a star. Just like the Pistons, the Spurs will have to lock down on defense if they want a better record, and luckily, they have the defenders to do so. With Victor handling the middle and Jeremy Sohan and Devin Vassell making life difficult for opposing stars, they certainly have the pieces. And let's not sleep on San Antonio's bench depth. They have Cedi Osman, Reggie Bullock, Cameron Payne, Devontae Graham, and Doug McDermott. I'm not even joking when I say that's one of the better benches in the league on paper. After not making the playoffs, they have been quietly building a perfect roster, and more importantly, they addressed their main problems. First, they drafted Derek Lively, a rim-protecting big they desperately needed. Then they brought in Rashawn Holmes, a fantastic rebounder and energy player. The Mavs' two biggest problems were rebounding and defense, and they addressed it with these two moves. But it continues, because the best move was signing Grant Williams. After trading away Dorian Finney-Smith, they needed a defensive stopper. While Williams isn't the most elite defensive stopper like Drew Holiday or Dylan Brooks, he's still a terrific defender with the mentality and physicality to guard the best scorers in the NBA nightly. So the Mavs have finally surrounded Luka and Kyrie with defense and rebounding. Things could get scary if those two stay healthy and on the floor together. And now finally, the fifth team to watch out for will without a doubt surprise you, the Los Angeles Lakers. How could a team shock you after making the Western Conference Finals? Well, that's the point. Let me explain. The roster the Lakers built was established mainly at the trade deadline. Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and D'Angelo Russell were some of the biggest reasons they made it that far. And the fact that they accomplished so much in so little time lets you know that things could work out even smoother now that they've played together for a while, including this offseason. On paper, there's only a few teams in the NBA that can match the Lakers on both ends. Anthony Davis and Jared Vanderbilt wreaked havoc together throughout the end of the season and into the playoffs. Those two alone make the Lakers one of the best defenses in the game. Now they've added more great defenders in Cam Reddish, Taurean Prince, and Gabe Vincent. Do not be surprised if they rank number 1 in defensive rating for most of the year, if not the entire year. And on the offensive end, they're going to continue to put up points, even with LeBron nearing 60. We all know he's going to average at least 20 points per game, and AD will drop anything between 25 and 28. And then you have Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, some of the best role players in the NBA who can quietly drop 20-plus points when needed. They could easily make the NBA Finals. And as I said, few other teams are better on paper. The only teams I'm putting over them are the Nuggets, Celtics, and Bucks. But what do you think? Which team will most likely surprise the NBA world? Comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.